What's going on, friends? Logan Myers here from Cinephellas.com to talk about the newest Game of Thrones episode, Beyond the Wall. Huge Game of Thrones fans, like millions of other people out there. It's probably the greatest show on television. I mean, there's no questions asked there. And if you've been watching the past 6 seasons, you'll know the second to last episode is always the best. It's always over-the-top action, melt in your face, awesomeness. And that's being true with this episode. This is the second to last episode, and this Sunday we had the final episode of season 7, so really looking forward to that. In this episode, the Suicide Squad, we'll call them, as a lot of people have been calling this group of people. You have Jorah, you have Tormund, the Hound, Jon Snow, Beric, Gendry, the whole crew's together. This is the first time a lot of these characters have met. And I'll say it's great writing. The conversations these characters had, top notch. So kudos to whoever wrote the script of this episode. Man, it blew me away. This crew of people are beyond the wall. They're heading out to look for the White Walkers to prove to everyone that these things are real. And as we all know, they are real. How many encounters have we had with Jon Snow? With these motherfuckers that are pretty ruthless and intimidating and will kill you. Like I was saying, the dialogue is great. Between the Hound and Tormund, two massive giant fellas, just bickering back and forth like an old married couple, and Tormund, talking about Brienne Tarth, his love interest, and future baby mama, and the Hound, going back and forth. It was quite funny, and the Hound was talking about her, and Tormund's like, "Oh, you know her?" Some good comedic performances right there. Gendry talking about how he was sexually assaulted. Beric and Jon Snow talking about how they were brought back to life by Melisandre. So, it was perfect, a perfect setting before the storm. And then we have Sansa and Arya, the old sisters back together again, fighting like sisters. And, Sansa finding out about what Arya's been doing and all these faces. But anyways, getting back to the good stuff here, the Suicide Squad. So they're setting out, it's fucking freezing out, they're looking for the White Walkers, and shit hits the fan, as you can imagine. There's some awesome scenes here. It reminded me a lot like Empire Strikes Back. They're out in the blizzard and snow, and these massive White Walker bears come up and attack some of the crew, and just the CGI work was incredible. And I'm going to give it up to the visual effects team on Game of Thrones. Pay attention, Hollywood. Pay attention right now. This is how you do visual effects at its finest. Just by putting these bears and these White Walkers and dragons and just this land of, fantasy and magic and things like that. This is how it's done properly. And this is a TV show. These are an hour long. I mean, you have movies that are 2-3 hours and they can't get the CGI right. So pay attention. These Suicide Squad members, Tormund and the Hound and Jon Snow and all them, they can fight. For being a small group of people, they've been around the block a few times or been around the castle a few times, so they know what they're doing. So as we all know, if you kill, a White Walker, there's going to be 1,000 more coming after you. So, that's what happens. They're surrounded by these White Walkers, and you see the Night King up, in the distance there, and Beric is like, why don't we just take out the leader, be done with all this? Obviously, that's what you want to do, but it's easier said than done. I'm going to say Tormund's probably one of my favorite characters of the show. A lot of people say I look like him in a way. Hey, that's a good thing. He's a good-looking guy. Ginger pride right here, baby. Red beards. And it was really great to see Beric again. He was brought back to life, and he's just a great character in the show, and, looking forward to seeing more of him. But the way he has a sword and he brings the flames on the sword, it was so badass, and he's ready to fucking go at the Night King and the White Walkers. Really, really standout performance in this episode, in my opinion. Jon Snow and the crew are surrounded by the White Walkers that are on this icy lake pond kind of thing, and what are they going to do? They're surrounded. They're going to get taken out. So they're just basically hanging out, and then, the Hound, the fucking cunt. He always says cunt, and he's a hilarious, character in the show, and he always has the greatest one-liners. But dumb brains there, the Hound throws a rock and tries to throw it at the White Walkers, and they can realize that the White Walkers can walk on this ice towards them. So he's like, oh fuck. So, as the White Walkers realize they can come after the crew, that's what happens. And then they just all-out battle. Fucking badass. It's just them surrounded and just fucking with the swords and killing them and taking them out. And there for an instance, you think Tormund's going down. I'm like, no, don't die. Don't kill Tormund. He's my favorite. But he doesn't, thank God. Woo! That was a close call there, guy. Don't do that to me again. I almost had a heart attack. And just when you think it's all over for these guys, the White Walker's going to kill them all, and there's nothing left in the episode. Oh, Daenerys comes on in with the dragons. You know, it was kind of predictable. You thought that was going to happen. But how the hell did she get there so fast? I mean, dragons can fly fast, but in like 2 minutes? A few plot holes here and there throughout the episode, but she comes to save the day once again. And, you know, they're fighting, and then in the background you see the dragons coming down with the fire and just taking out all these thousands of White Walkers. And you can't help but say, yeah! Daenerys, you're my girl. Good job. And she comes to save the day, or so you think, and taking out these White Walkers, getting the crew on the dragon so they can hightail out of there and get the fuck out of there before they all die. But no, old Jon Snow, what are you thinking, man? Come on, what are you thinking? You have to get on the dragon and get the hell out of there. You don't have to fight by yourself and take out more of these. It's not going to solve anything. And of course, Jon Snow gets taken down and goes under the water and the ice and the below freezing water, and Daenerys and the guys got to get out of there, so they just take off, you know? We don't know if Jon Snow is going to live or die again. And, you know, Daenerys has 3 dragons, and they're taking off, and Viserion is flying, and the Night King, they pan into him. He's got a big icy spear. Where'd he get the spear? Who knows? But he had the spear, and he threw it at Viserion, and obviously knocks it down and kills it, and it flies down into the icy pond there, and goes deep into the water to never be seen again. And old Uncle Benjin, where the hell's he been? You know, he showed up a few times throughout the show. Ned's brother shows up. He's got the ball of fire and a horse, and he's fucking taking out these guys, and saves his old nephew, Jon Snow, and lets him take the horse. Why didn't Benjin just hop on the horse with Jon? Who knows? But he lets Jon take the horse, and so he can get the hell out of there, and Benjin will probably never be seen again. He's gone. But, you know, that was courageous, heroic effort, Benjin, and I love you for that. And then we end the episode with, you know, Daenerys and Jon Snow. He makes it back, and he's hurt, and he's trying to recover from the whole battle with the White Walkers and probably hypothermia. And, you know, he has this nice six-pack with the shirt off with all the scars. And Daenerys, you know, you see her looking at him. She's like, yep, I want that. So why don't you guys just bang and get it over with, and let's, you know, focus on the main prize here. Let's end the White Walkers once and for all. And he thought Viserion the dragon would never be seen again. But of course, the White Walkers pull him out of the icy water. Somehow they got some chains at Home Depot or Lowe's, and they brought that with them just in anticipation to maybe get the dragon. So they pull him out of the water, and the Night King touches it, and its eyes turn blue. End scene. Okay, so that's predictable, but it's still kind of cool. It's like, what are they going to do with this? It's going to be a White Walker dragon. It's going to be blowing ice instead of fire. So the final episode of this season 7 is airing this Sunday on HBO. It's called The Dragon and the Wolf. Ooh. So we'll see what happens. You know, the crew grabbed a White Walker somehow and brought it back. It's still alive, or dead, but moving around. So, you know, they want to prove it to Cersei that these White Walkers do exist, as we all know. But, you know, she's a stubborn old bitch, and I don't think it's really going to make a difference. Beyond the Wall, excellent episode, excellent writing, excellent action, over-the-top visual effects, as always. Second to last episode, always kicks the most ass. This is probably my second favorite episode of the entire Game of Thrones series, the first being the Battle of the Bastards, which was the second to last episode last season between Ramsay Bolton and Jon Snow. So top notch, excellent. I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 5 hair pieces. So all you Game of Thrones fans, what did you think of this episode? Were you happy with how the episode turned out? Are you happy about the dragon getting taken down and turning into a walker with the blue eyes? What'd you guys think? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to hit subscribe. Final episode of the season is coming this Sunday. I will definitely do a reaction review of that episode because I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to go out on top like always, and it's going to be super long, one of the longest episodes yet. So really looking forward to that, and then not looking forward to waiting another year or two for the final season of Game of Thrones. This is the one and only Lord Commander Logan Myers signing out from Cinephellas. Until next time, cheese!